Hi everyone, I'm Josh Wakeling. This is
Roy Hanley,
And-
my uncle Oste.
and we're Team 2-7 for our engineering class. For this assignment, we were given a 2-foot by 2-foot pegboard, and we had to derive 3 different stations. As a team, we were able to say that each station has to follow a principles of physics and engineering. In doing so, we had to allow the ping pong ball to enter and the ping pong ball to leave at the same velocity. In doing so, we have to make this project very fun and exciting for our target market. In terms of planning, I know what you're saying, 2-foot by 2-foot pegboard, how can you make this exciting for everyone? That's a wonderful question first off, and this is how we're going to answer that. In our first station, we're going to show projectile motion. In doing so, we're able to take the spring constant if we use a spring, and we're able to take the force applied and derive the time that the ping pong ball will be in the air as well as the distance using the angle. The second station, we will be showing that you can overcome the force of gravity with the use of gearing. This is a very interesting station because it will either be an escalator or an elevator. Our third and final station will be showing the difference between kinetic and potential energy. In showing that, we will be doing a roller coaster to show that the peaks will show more potential energy and the valleys will show more kinetic energy. This is the mission statement. A lot of the information I just told you fills up the bulk of this. The key things that you've not heard yet is that the primary market is mostly 10th graders and educators. We really want to make this a very fun and educational product for everyone. Our secondary market is other students, and our stakeholders are other team members, VTEPs, the group sponsoring this, as well as our professor, Dr. Clark. In terms of product management, we wanted to break down the entire process week by week. In doing so, we decided that a Gantt chart would be the best option. In doing so, we were able to define the priority of the critical paths, as well as find what other paths we can group together in parallel to increase efficiency. This is the Gantt chart, and we are currently on concept generation, concept testing. We are currently testing our first station, seeing what works, how we can improve it, etc.
Hey guys, this is me again, Mayank. I'm actually working on the customer need. In order to get a really awesome feedbacks, we actually did the face-to-face customer interviews, and we come up with this awesome 10 the customer statements. So the very first one, the primary statement which we got for the customer, they actually need some kind of booklet or like a manual booklet so they can read over it rather than they just watch it. They would just want to make sure that whatever they're watching, they do actually understand what's going on in there. So that's our primary statement for the customer. And the second primary we have, they don't want to get hurt, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to follow all the safety protocols, because we actually also trying to use some, rather than just a plastic ping pong, we trying to use like metal ball. So we might have some kind of sharp edges coming off, or the metal ball can land it on the foot, so it can hurt our customer. So we're gonna follow all the protocols. So we're gonna use all personal protection equipments, which is called the PPE. So that's what we're gonna do it. For the secondary, which the customer really want to do it, they actually want to control the experiment with their cell phone through the Wi-Fi network, or maybe trying to use the USB cable, or launch some kind of app, install the apps, and control our experiment. So this is the secondary, just because of we thought it's a really nice idea, but the problem is it costs a lot of money, time, and that kind of technology takes forever. So that's what we thought it's gonna be in the secondary. So he is a Ricky Bobby. He's 16 years old. He's a high school student, and he's living with his parents in Christian Blacksburg. And the thing is that we trying to get, after we did the customer interview, we trying to get in their foot. We just want to make sure how they actually feel about it. So Ricky Bobby, he's a very intelligent, confident student, and he's living in the desperate time, in the desperate economy. Target classification. What is the target specification? The target specification is actually come right after when we identify the customer interviews and analyze their needs. The engineering specification, it has a directly relationship or some kind of relationship with the customer needs. So this is next. This is the QFD. So these are all the customer needs what we have. These are the top 7 what we just picked, and these are the engineering specification, which has some kind of coordination or correlation with our customer needs. So I will explain about the technology because it has a really good numbers right there with our customer needs. So for the technology, for the customer need, what we got is the basic knowledge information provides, and the technology number gives us 4. So the higher the number we have, the more the correlation with the customer needs. So why has a number 4 right here? Because the basic knowledge, when we actually allow our customer to give us some kind of manual information about the experiment, so they can actually know what kind of technology we actually using it. Is this advanced technology or is like a regular technology which is already been exist? Number 2, that allows you to interact with the experiment, how the technology gonna coordinate with number 2 right there. So when the students actually experimenting, interacting with our experiment, they will able to know how this technology works. So we will explain them how it works, or they will be more comfortable after that. Portable, which doesn't have any kind of relationship with the technology, so we skip the number. Safety protocols, we just want to make sure when we introduce any kind of technologies, are those safe to introduce, you know? So we don't wanna get our customer get hurt as they interacting with the experiment. Number 5, operation through the Wi-Fi. This is number 5 because it has a really strong coordination with the technologies. As we actually interview our customers, some customers want actually to control their experiment with their cell phones and all. So technology play a really important role here as customer want to operate through the Wi-Fi, or they want to use the USB cable or put some kind of GPS. So they just want to make sure how this experiment goes. Affordable. We also want to make sure the technology is actually affordable. We don't want to use, you know, very expensive and then the whole project is going to be super expensive and we cannot sell our project. So we also want to have to keep in our mind the technology which we're using is cheaper and affordable. So as we go into the second slide, this is also still QFD. I want to talk about here as our units. So for the technology, the units which we're using, just yes and no, just because we want to make sure that if you're using the advanced technology, we're going to go with a yes. If you're using just a regular exist technology, we're gonna say no. Easy to operate, yes and no again. The quality of material, what type of quality materials we're going to use. The 2 quality which we actually trying to use is aluminum and the carbon steel. According to the statics, we actually come up with the aluminum steel is going to be the more affordable and more stronger than the aluminum, so we're going to go with the carbon steel right here. Average time to install, like hours. Rory will talk about in the bench pressing how many hours does it actually take us to install our materials. Length of pegboards, again, it's going to be in the inches. Maximum allowable weight is going to be in the pounds, and the PPE, which I talk about as we're going to use follow our safety protocols. Again, it's going to be yes and no. So our primary goal is going to be yes. Entertainment, of course, is going to be an entertainment, and the total price is going to be in the US dollars.
So the next 2 products we looked at were the Hexcalator and the Screw Lift, both of which were made by the Hex company. We decided, or we have not decided yet, which type of lift we want to use. We're not sure if we want to use a escalator-like lift or the screw lift, both of which are fairly similar. They work in very similar ways. Screw lift looks better than the escalator type. And finally, we have projectile launchers. The reason we have both ISCO Labs Spring Launcher and Science First is because, even though they are very similar, is because of price differences. The Science First projectile launcher was a lot cheaper, made of very similar materials. And then there was also the Visual Scientific's projectile launcher, which of the 3 works the best. It is a bolt-action type of spring launcher and very lightweight, easy to adjust the angles. Overall, just the best. Economy. So we decided for the project as a whole, we wanted our product to be $100. It costs about $60 to make because we want it to be very durable, but we also want to make a profit, so we have it at about 40% increased profit. The fixed cost is what everyone got. It's $11,250. If we wanted to make the most money out of our product, we would have to make 320 units. And the break-even point is 281 units. And this is the chart we used in order to find the break-even and the max profit.
So to wrap everything up, we have ultimately decided that we will be using a spring-powered cannon as our first station. Our second station will either be an escalator, screw lift, or elevator, and our third station will be showing the principles of kinetic versus potential energy with the use of a roller coaster. We have decided to tweak the specifications in order to appeal more to the end customer, and we have decided that we need to sell 281 to make a break even. We have also really noted that customers want this to be very flashy and intriguing, so that will be our next steps in this assignment.